Let's go over the homework from yesterday just really quickly. Yesterday we looked at the adding of or converting from tons, which is 2,000 pounds. Okay, so back and forth between tons and pounds, and then into ounces. Okay, so tons to pounds to ounces, and going the other direction as well. So that's what we looked at for homework, different variations. Big thing was, Curtis, you have that one? So the big thing was you could only add tons to tons, you could only add pounds to pounds, and you could only add ounces to ounces. And when we have over 16 ounces, we have to convert that 16 into a group of pounds, kind of like the mixed fractions idea. Okay, so we use that as we did our homework, converting. Some were two-step conversions like C and D here. This one here, you have to find the mass weight of everything going into the elevator and then compare it to 1.5 tons. So you could compare them in tons if you wanted. Some kids did that. Or you could compare them in pounds. That works as well. And then you have to make sure you're safe enough in the elevator because you don't want the elevator to fail. Okay. Number 3 is like our example. You have to convert everything into pounds and then compare the max load and make sure that you round properly to be safe. So you can't overweight your truck. Okay. So if you found this that you needed, how many pieces of cement, you couldn't carry extra cement. All right, so if it's like 3.1, you'd have to round down to 3 pieces of cement. You couldn't carry 4 pieces of cement; it'd be too heavy. Okay, there you go. And then these ones were a little bit more straightforward. Any questions on them? Come up and ask right away. Don't sit there and think for more than 1 minute on a question. If you're there for more than 1 minute on a question, it's too long. You need to come up and ask and get some direction so you get started right away. Okay, that's why some of you get behind your homework. You're sitting there too long on your own. Okay. So today what we're looking at is weight and cost. So in Unit 1, we looked at such things as the cost per apple. And we looked at such things as the cost per pound. Write this down. Okay. Today we're looking at the cost per ounce, but we're converting back and forth. So for some stuff, we will have to convert. So one thing we're doing today is we're going to find those prices per pound and prices per ounces. And the second thing we're going to do today is we're going to convert back and forth between them. Okay, so that's kind of the 2 parts that we're looking at. A couple things. Number 1, before you even get started, write this down. It's helpful and usually easier to find the unit price in the smaller unit. There's some exceptions, but usually find the unit price in the smaller unit. For example, in this question, you have a can that's all in ounces, and you have another can that's in pounds and ounces. Well, you want to convert everything to ounces so it's easier. Don't convert the small ounce can into a pound can because that's going to be working with a lot of decimals and confusing. Convert everything into ounces, the smaller unit. And part 2 is you got to have the same units. In order to compare, the units must be the same. Okay? So we have to make sure that we're not messing that part up. Any questions before we start? Okay, so looking right here, in both situations, we have 1 can of vegetables. Okay. Underline $1.49. So 1 can costs $1.49 and it's 12 ounces. So underline 12 ounces. And what I would do after you underline them is I would connect them. That way you can see how the size and the price are connected. Helps you keep them together. Then there's another can. Okay, the next can is measured in pounds, 1 pound, 2 ounces. Okay, and that one is $2.19. You should connect those two as well, okay, because those two are connected. So in order to compare them, we have to compare their unit price. So the very first one, it would be money on top, because money is the most important thing. $1.49 divided by the cell size, which is 12 ounces. And that's going to equal 0.1242 per ounce, OZ. It's important here to keep all your decimals. Do not round. Do not round. Do not round. Do not round. Okay? Because you don't know which digit you're comparing. Right? You might have to compare the very, very last digit. You don't know yet. So do not round at this stage. Okay? So can one, pretty straightforward. Okay? $0.1242 per ounce. But can two, we have to convert. So in can two, we have 1 pound, 2 ounces, which we can't work with. So we have to convert that 1 pound. We know that 1 pound from our data table equals 16 ounces. So what we have to do is take this 16 ounces and add it to the 2 ounces that is there already to give us the complete size in ounces. So the complete size is 18 ounces. That's the complete size. Now we can take the 219 and find our unit price and compare the cost per ounce. Cost per ounce. So we will then take the cost, which is $2.19. It's the most important thing in division, so it goes first, it goes on top. $2.19 on top. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. Divided by 18 ounces. Okay. And so then you can find your cost per ounce of 0.1217 per ounce. So on the calculator, you enter in the top number first, 2.19 divided by 18. Okay, and you can see we rounded that last decimal, right? We rounded that last decimal. So which one's cheaper? Which one's the better buy? Yeah, the $2.19 one. Okay, so can two. Can two is the better buy. And what do we mean by better buy? We mean that it is cheaper. And what do we mean by cheaper? Yeah, it's a smaller number. Okay, it's a smaller number. So the price per ounce is lower. So that's what we're looking at when we're talking about better buy. We're looking for something that's cheaper, which means it's a smaller number. Any questions you guys have? You notice I'm showing my work slightly different than they are. That's why you should be writing it down, because it's the work. That's the way we've been seeing the work. It's way better for you. Any questions? Okay, so example number 2, we've seen this before. Okay, dude buys some steaks. He buys 4 pounds and 6 ounces of meat. Put a box around that or underline it. It costs $2.74 per pound. Per pound. Okay. However, there's some fat on that. The butcher wasn't very good. And when he trimmed off that excess fat that he didn't want, there was only 4 pounds of meat left. What was the true cost per pound of the steak? Okay. Stores and restaurants want to know this because then they can figure out which supplier they should go with. Okay. So, first thing you have to do is convert the 4 pounds and 6 ounces. We have to take this and we have to figure out how many total pounds this is. So we're going to take the 4 pounds, LB, and we're going to multiply it by the conversion factor. So the 2 conversion factors we could use is 1 pound equals 16 ounces, or 1 pound equals 16 ounces, but flipped. So we have to decide which one should we use, 1 over 16 or 16 over 1? Well, the question is, what are we trying to find? We're trying to find pounds, so we have to use the conversion factor that has pounds on top. Okay. Which conversion factor has pounds on top? Well, it's the first one that we wrote down. So we don't need the second one. Scratch that out. We're going to use the first one and go 4 pounds times 1 pound over 16 ounces. Okay. And we got that conversion factor from our table. So we go to our calculator. Beep, beep, beep. 4 times 1 divided by 16 equals 0.25. But we have to add, okay. Oh, Mr. Barker. Hold on, put on the brakes. I don't need it in pounds, do I? I screwed up. This is wrong. I need it in ounces. OZ. Okay. So I need to flip my conversion factor because I need ounces. So ounces has to go on top. So 16 ounces over 1 pound. So I multiply 4 times 16, divide by 1, and I get 64. So that's 64 ounces, plus the 6 ounces that are also there. And the amount of meat he bought in ounces was 72 ounces. Oh. Shameful, shameful, shameful. Mr. Barker is 0 for 2. Because okay, my apologies. We want the cost per pound. Okay, so we do want to find pounds, but I converted the wrong number. 4 pounds is 4 pounds. It doesn't need converting. It's the 6 ounces that needs converting. Okay, nothing wrong with starting again when we make mistakes. Perfect example of what you do when you do your homework, right? So 6 ounces is correct. We want pounds, so 1 lb in 16 ounces. Now I know I'm on the right track. So I go 6 times 1 divided by 16 equals 0.375. And that's going to be pounds. And we add it to the 4 pounds we already have that Mr. Barker forgot about. And so the total poundage is 4.375 pounds. That's the total poundage. So we're going to take the $2.74 now and divide it by the total. Take the $2.74 times it by 4.37 pounds. 4.375 pounds times $2.74 a pound. That's going to equal your total cost. So multiply those, add the 4. So 4.375 times 2.74 equals $11.98. So we round up to $11.99. So that's how much we paid for the meat. Okay. So we're going to get the total that we paid for the meat, and now we're going to divide it by how many actual pounds there were to get the actual cost. So divide by 4 pounds because we trimmed some away. And so the actual cost equals $11.99 divided by 4, $2.997. So we should round that up to $3. Okay. So $3 per lb, per pound. Okay. Any questions? Okay. One more example here. How many people love shopping at Costco? I do, absolutely. Right? The reason why I love Costco is because it's big sizes. It doesn't necessarily mean it's cheaper though. So at Costco, anytime you buy meat, it's going to be priced per kilogram. So for example, the chicken, last time I bought chicken, it was $15.25 per kg. Now, Save On had it on sale for, what was it? I think it was $3.50 per pound. Can you compare those two? Not at all. You can't compare them because one's in kg and one's in LB. So you have to know whether you should shop at Costco or not. What we have to do is convert them into the same unit. Which one do you want to convert? The kg or the LB? Convert them to LB? Sounds good. So we're going to convert them to LB. So we're going to multiply by 2.2 pounds for 1 kg. Okay. Oh, sorry, I got that wrong. Here's the tricky part with this. Right? Kg's on the bottom. In order to cancel the kg out, I have to have kg at the top and 2.2 pounds at the bottom. And the reason why is when I finish, I want to have the price per pound. I want LB on the bottom now. So this gets a little tricky. Okay. This way my units will cancel. So my kgs will now cancel, and I'm left with the price per pound. Okay. LB must be on the bottom. So on my calculator, I will take 15.25 divide by 2.2. I'll get $6.93 per pound. So which one's cheaper, Save On and Costco? Save On. And that's probably because Save On had a huge sale. Not always the case, but especially because I just made these numbers up. But you got to check it out. In order to check it out, you got to have the same unit price. Okay. It's about that. We can look at our data pages and get a more precise one. On our data pages, it has 1 kg, 2.2. I think it might be 2.25. I'm not even sure. Okay. 2.21. Yeah, yeah, exactly, right? But that's good enough, 2.2. Nick, questions? No? Okay. So converting them from one to the other is a little bit tricky, but it's something that you actually do a lot of in order to compare them, especially if you're a Costco shopper, because it ain't always cheaper. Trust me. It comes from a superstore shopper. All right. For your homework, got to figure out your costs. Number 2, you got to figure out 3 of them. So there's 3 different jars. Figure out 3 unit prices, then compare. And you should figure them all out in ounces. Number 3 is like the true cost per ounce. So get your total, divide by 22. There you go. Get that done, and you're laughing. Okay. Any questions? Number 1, complete the quiz. Then, of course, mark and hand in. So that'll be quiz 1. And step 2, assignment 5. Some people did complete the quiz and handed it in. Some people did, some people didn't. I think there's about 10 of us that completed it.